is thy kingdom come. Let the spirit of the Holy One pass over. Let your peace cover the earth. Lord, let your will be
A new season of Spiritually Speaking and Awakening starts now.
This is the
This week's episode is sponsored by Hustle and Bling. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that bling. Lovely paparazzi designer pieces for only $5. That's right, $5. And don't worry about it if the kid gets in the jewelry box. They're only $5. Make sure you catch Allison Mondays and Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays live on Instagram and Facebook, promoting some of these wonderful fashion fixes that you'll enjoy. And if you miss it, check out the website. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that bling. Hustle and Bling.
Say goodbye. I'll take you to the park. Say goodbye. Mm-mm. Say goodbye, hot dog. There we go. There we go.
Right along with Vanessa Morning Show streams Fridays, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay in love. Stay in Love TV is your production to distribution solution to getting your message seen and heard. Having your own TV show with Stay in Love TV has never been easier than now. Stay in Love TV gives you the power to share your message with the world. Stop watching TV and start being watched on TV. Stay in Love TV offers real-time multicasting, all with one click. This opportunity puts you on the world stage with an audience of over 200 million. In addition to your low monthly subscription fees, you will also receive monthly network coaching and training from the network itself to ensure that before your first show premieres, you are set up for success. We at Stay in Love TV bring over 20 years experience in sales, marketing, advertising, and business development. Stay in Love TV, purposeful entertainment driven by love, empowered with passion, fueled with faith. Go to www.stayinlovetv.com and let's get started.
This is thy kingdom come. Let the spirit of the Holy One pass over. Let your peace cover the earth. Lord, let your will be done. This is the time to take a stand, to let the world know that you can. You can face tomorrow, but today is the day that you say, I will reign. I will reign.
Hello, everyone. How are you? How are you? I am Vanessa Klinger, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator.
And I'm Michelle. I am your motivator and your spiritual evolutionist. Namaste. About to the divine plan, purpose, power in you today. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to knock out that man behind my back because my green screen is messing up, and I'm like trying to. But it's an Italian picture, so it's like a long-awaited dream. I'm going to Italy. I'm going to Italy. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm going to Italy.
It's
going
a
to
sign.
Italy. Yes.
Yeah.
Woo! How was your week, co-host?
Very interesting. It was really my first week of my assignment, not my job. I've been told this is not a job, this is an assignment. So it's really wild. But I see different avenues that God's going to use me on it. So I'm excited about it. Doesn't feel like a job. It does actually feel like an assignment. So that's been good for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, co-host, because you are desiring to be able to help those who are spiritually sick. And now you have the opportunity to do that. And
Have a bunch to help, like over 700 men,
be
not including
careful what you
staff.
wish for. I'm telling you that you were like, I want to do these. Like, talk about opening up doors.
Yeah, yeah, that it's a lot of doors. Um, it's like a a kid in a candy store for me, because it allows me to utilize all that I studied, all that I went through, all that
Hmm.
the revelations God has given me, and it gives me free reign to do that. And not necessarily saying God in every sentence, but the experience is, the assignment is bigger than what I see. I know that. So I'm through training for right now, so I'm getting in my position to see who's going to be assigned to me, and just already talked to a bunch of the staff and been able to um, assist them unknowingly. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. Everything you've experienced. Now it's all starting to make sense about everything that you were going through and how it just really equipped you. I know it did because, in order for, you know, and this is where so many of those who aren't as mature spiritually, they misinterpret when they feel that calling, and they know they have a sense of purpose, but they don't really know how it's going to come about, and you have to
Hmm.
qualify, and that's, I
Yeah.
mean, it's all through the Bible. You get the vision, the dream first, and then you
Hmm.
have to go through the qualification process. And I
Right.
call it hell. I call it hell in the hallway. Thank you, Bishop Jensen Franklin. Hell in the hallway, because you got to go through all of that, what perceivably may appear to be hell, but it's
Right.
actually the process, so
Right.
that
And
you can
so
be
I'm
positioned.
well equipped. I know that.
Yes, ma'am. I know you are. I know
I
you
had
are.
training. I had training before their training. So
Hmm.
um, it's going to be. It's like every day will be different.
Hmm.
Um, because in that setting, and I can't really say where it is, but
Right.
in that setting, um, something happens differently every day. Um, and you got to be on point, and you got to be conscious, and you got to listen and hear. And so it's really going to sharpen me a whole lot, because 5 days a week I will be practicing um, everything that I thought I'd never be able to do. But and also in a different setting. I didn't think it would be this setting. Thought it would be in another setting. But I'm grateful to how God has trusted me with such a large assignment. It's big. It's really big. So yeah,
You're ready.
we're on the way.
You are ready.
Yeah.
Well, I had some interesting things happen with me this week. Um, so there are changes that are happening in my life, and you know, when it happens, you're not expecting it, but it's there. There was a sense of relief, and I'll share this with you privately. But yeah, I mean, it was like, okay, all right. Um,
Hmm.
but my chair keeps falling. But yeah, it's interesting week. I'm just slowly sinking down. I don't know what's going on. It's my chair. Hold on just a second. Why don't you share with us about, because your new season kicks off this week.
Yes, tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern. We are keying off season 2 of today's Michelleology. We are going to explore the kingdom of God. And I promise you, it's nothing like you've ever been told before. Um, the thing that started me out with this is when I began to listen to Miles Monroe, and he began to do the teaching on the kingdom of God, which expanded my revelation to a point where I wanted to go, not just what he said, but I wanted to go in and see what the revelation was that God was giving me. And it's so profound and so great that we just don't even know. We just don't even know our position. and what we carry and where we are. We're still stuck in that third dimension of what somebody is telling us instead of actually hearing it. So this season is going to be, and every time I do a video, God opens up something else about the kingdom. And so all through the tapings, I get so excited because it's something that I just heard that's fresh off the press, not something that I had planned to say. So please join at 7. If you can't get up at 7, I mean, it's a holiday. Come on, you can get up and then go back to sleep later. But you can go back and listen to the replay. I promise you, you won't be able to watch one episode and just say, I got it. You're going to have to go back because the revelations I'm finding are going to flow in the audience as like it was flowing in me. So I'm excited about that because somebody's going to catch on fire.
And what's the name of your show, co-host?
The name of the show is The Kingdom of God. Those are the seasons in today's Michelleology. So listen, don't miss it. I promise you, it'll be worth it. I'm excited about it now when I just think about the things. And all week he's been giving me more and more stuff about the kingdom. So I really don't know the seasons that the episodes that we plan are going to be enough. Let's just ride it out and see.
All
It may
right.
roll into season 3. I don't know. But let's just ride it out and see and be excited about what God is doing. He's not doing anything now. He's already done it. And so we've got to go back and get our birthrights, get our inheritance, and walk in it.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching it tomorrow morning.
Me too. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to get up.
It's going to be 6 a.m. here. And thank goodness I've been getting up 2 or 3 in the morning for the last almost year. So that'll be perfect time for me to sit down and just enjoy the show, because the insights and the downloads that you're getting are just perfect.
I mean,
right on time.
It's like it's like crazy revelation. It's like I just think of the kingdom, and then stuff just start popping off, and I'm like,
right, because you're in alignment. Woo. You are in alignment, and let me calm down. You are in alignment because you are fully aligning with your purpose. See, and that's key to when you're going through that process, that qualification process, is to get you aligned spiritually so that you can get tapped in to everything that's flowing. But
it's really aligning my life. It's like adjusting my life as I'm speaking about the kingdom, but I'm being awakened to the kingdom. And so it's positioning me in the kingdom. So it's really, I get excited just thinking about it and get goosebumps, because this is what the great I am placed here for us. And we're not utilizing it. We're just looking in a book saying the kingdom, and we're planning to go to a kingdom that is not a geographical place. It's a space that you have to get right now. And everybody talking about they want to go to heaven, but heaven, you haven't even taken hold of heaven right here. And it's hard to believe the way things are happening that this is heaven. And the only reason it doesn't seem like that is because we're trying to live it as a human. We are not human. We are spiritual. So it's hard to be a human when you're spiritual. And it's hard to be spiritual when you're human. And so we have got to get in position, get in alignment. Come on, y'all. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today's Michelleology. Stay in Love TV. Let's get up and watch it. It will be the beginning of a change in your life.
Yes, I agree. Tonight, our segment, for the theme for this season is Supernatural Visitations. And we're highlighting some of the key players from the Bible. And tonight we're focused on Moses, the deliverer, I call him.
Yes. Moses had so many supernatural visitations with God, from being a baby, riding down the river to the point where, he didn't even get to actually physically go into the promised land. But from that point to that point, so many visitations. So we don't even have enough time in life to expand on those. But we'll get a little bit in to wet your whistle.
Right. And the scripture highlight is Exodus 3. And I only put a couple of verses in there because of time constraints. It's
Yeah.
13 and 14. It says, Then Moses said to God, Suppose I go to the people of Israel and I tell them, the God of our fathers sent me to you, and they ask me, What is his name? What
Mm-hmm.
do I tell them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. Tell the people,
Yeah.
I
And
am.
I am means it's complete, it's done, it's finished. Whatever you put behind I am, that means it is a done deal. Whether you put negative or positive,
Mm-hmm.
you're putting God first. And his answer is yes and amen. So he's going to agree to whatever you agree to. But
Mm-hmm.
Moses' visitation actually came when the bush was burning and it wasn't being consumed.
Right.
Now that
What's
was,
your
to
what's
me,
your
that was one of
interpretation
the,
of that?
yeah, to me, that was one of the greatest visitations that Moses had. Just
Mm-hmm.
imagine yourself um, in a space, wherever you are now, and you look over and you see the bush burning, but it is not turning to ashes. It's just a consuming fire that is not consuming the tree. So it is the voice of God, and we have that visitation every day. So,
If
so
we're
the
open to receive it, if we're open to receive
right,
it, we have to be
right.
aware.
So the visitation is always fire from God. I talked
Mm-hmm.
about, and you'll hear it in the sessions when you join, that the first voice that we hear, God began to say to me, that's my voice. Don't
Mm-hmm.
question the first voice, because I'm not second to any other voice. So for you to see, if you physically see a bush burning and you hear the voice of God, that bush to me is your heart being on fire to hear what God is going to say to you. Um, and he is speaking, but very few people are listening.
Yeah, my interpretation of that was enlightenment usually comes when you're on the backside of the desert, when you're all alone and it's quiet and everything's desolate, and
Mhm.
you know those key defining moments, in my opinion, occur when you're on the backside of nothing,
No.
and if I'm not mistaken, was that when he was running from that man where he tried to kill, where he killed that man and hit him, or was this? I'm trying to remember because I get it confused. But either way, he was tending to sheep, I believe, and he
So it
saw.
was a desolate place, because I
Yeah,
believe he had just killed
that's right.
somebody and he
Yeah,
was in hiding. And that's the best place for God to speak to you, is when you're hiding out from everybody else, and then you will get away from all the distractions, so you can't help but hear God. So he was in that space of, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, and I don't know who to talk to. So God comes in those moments, that visitation, when he comes when nobody else is around. And that's why we have to stay in that meditative mode, that no matter where we are, if we're in the space and place of somebody speaking, we can tune out, go into our meditative mode, and still hear the voice of God. Because although his voice is soft and very easy, it's so mighty, it speaks over everyone else. You just have to be tuned in.
right. And what's so interesting is that he was probably, because he was passionate, because he knew it was like instinctively, because it was an Israelite that was being abused, and
Hmm.
he killed the, I think it was a guard or something,
Yeah.
and he killed him,
Hmm.
and because he knew that was where he came from,
Hmm.
right? So he recognized the injustice, but his execution was not the right method that he should have carried out. And
Right.
and I love how this it was written, because this is how I'm interpreting it, is that if your passions and your intentions are coming from a place of righteousness,
Mm-hmm.
that God can do something with you. He can come to
Right.
you and say, okay, I see what you were trying to do, but
Mm-hmm.
let me just really help you to define who you really are. Because see, I know he had a sense that, wow, I was just consumed by my passion because I knew that that was wrong, right? So he
Right.
was operating from a space of righteousness, and God was just, he came to him and talked to him, and that enlightenment came and told him. He says, well, who do I say? I mean, what do I tell them? He says, why would you choose me? I mean, why, especially after what I just did, why would you choose me? And he was like, God said, I've, been watching people and I've been hearing their cries, and, you know, this is Vanessa's.
And he was not used to speaking to people directly because of a stutter. Um,
Right.
so to be chosen with all of those, and it reminds me of Paul, because
Mhm.
Paul said, if you just take this
Thorn.
thorn in my flesh away,
Mhm.
then I guess he was saying I could operate better. But God was saying to him, I don't take things away. I use them to perfect you. So my grace is sufficient. No matter what kind of problem or situation that you find yourself in, or you think you can't do, God takes that very thing and he uses it for his glory. So he's not looking for perfect people. He is looking for people who want to be perfected in who they are, just as they are. So that grace is sufficient for anything: a stutter, a thorn in the flesh, a physical ailment, anything. So we let those things stop us, but those are the things that should motivate us because of the grace.
And it's those inadequacies of where we feel as if we're not enough, right?
Right,
And God comes to us during those defining moments to let us know, hey, you are enough.
right.
And it's such a wonderful thing if you are aware of it, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we'll be highlighting other folks, throughout the season. But the great thing about Moses was that although he was unsure and uncertain majority of the time, he carried it out. I mean, he carried out
Right,
the mission, and in spite of everything that occurred throughout that process. I mean, because personally, I probably would have turned around and left all of them in the desert, because they would have just been, I'm like, look, I can't deal with these people because they're not listening to me. They won't, and I'm telling them what you're telling. I would have just, I would I would have left him. I'm like, bye, y'all. I'm not called to do this. But he carried it out, and his faithfulness is what stands out. And you don't hear stories about people who didn't, you know, who didn't fulfill the mission. There are a lot of
right,
players. There are a lot of
right,
players, and throughout the Bible, they did this, and characters and all of that. But the ones who fulfilled God's mission, whether good, bad, or ugly, we know about them. We know about those
right,
folks. But
right. So having those imperfections really help you not to get in your ego.
right.
And I would say ego is edging God out.
Hmm.
So it keeps you in a state of humbleness so that you don't get above yourself and begin to think you're better or you're greater, um, which is what I was saying at this point, in this position that I am. Why me, but why not me? So God always chooses one to lead many. Um, so he keeps it in a close circle. So he told me, he said, your concerns are not, and I'm sure this is what he was telling Moses, what the people are going to say about you, how they feel about you, and what they're going to try to do to distract you. If you can hold those things without those bothering you, then you'll be able to carry out everything in a sufficient way. So that's what he gave to me, because
Hmm.
he says all of those are in the emotions. If you don't react to those emotional things, you'll be able to stand still and carry out the things just like Moses did. over millions of people, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Right.
lot.
Right.
Hmm.
My mantra is none of these things move me. That's my mantra.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
when you have to be around other people and work with people and interact with people who, I don't want to say who are not spiritually aligned with where you are. I'll put it that way.
And it's good practice.
It's
It's
good
good
practice.
practice. If you can
Yeah.
keep your emotions out
Yeah.
of it, it's good practice. It's good training
Mm-hmm.
to be able to not respond, not react
Mm-hmm.
to what somebody's saying. Because most of the time it's just an opinion and everybody got one.
Everybody got one. Well, I'm excited about tonight's guest.
Of course.
Lydia Burden, and we're going to run a couple of commercials. And when we come back, you guys are going to really fall in love with her and her story and her testimony. Really, it's a testimony in my opinion. So Lydia Burden, she's also going to be highlighting her book, Free Land for Sale. So we'll run a couple of commercials, and when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, Lydia Burden. So stay tuned.
Get ready for your now awakening. Today's Michelleology returns Memorial Day, only on Stay in Love TV. Get your copy of Mental Equation, available on Amazon and on Stay in Love TV. Today's Michelleology.
7.
Join me and the great Michelle Massey Washington Sunday, June 4th, with our very special guest, Fred Calloway, founder of Spirit Vision Products and God's Alpha Male brand. Fred is committed to spreading his message to men around the world through Spirit Vision Products and God's Alpha Male. So join us Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Stay in Love TV.
That's right. Next week we have Fred Calloway, God's Alpha Male, who will be joining us. But tonight, co-host, we have Lydia Burden. So let's bring her on. Hi, Lydia.
Hello.
How are you, my love?
I am well.
That's
Wow. Great. Moses? Really? That's what y'all start with tonight? Moses?
Yeah.
Moses. Yep, Moses.
Awesome.
Moses. Yeah, but your segment tonight is about the forbidden, and I titled it that because I had a chance to read briefly about your book and to hear read your bio, and I was like, wow, she's doing something that's could be considered forbidden with her approach and methodologies and everything. So I wanted to, the guests and the viewers to just really get some insight into your story, your testimony.
Okay. Well, my name is Lydia Burden. I've been married for 30 years. I am a veteran. My husband and I both are vets. We met in Korea. But I ended up having a condition. I ended up getting sick while we were in Korea. So my plan was, and I always tell people, I only had a plan A. I never had a plan B. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I was going to join the military. I was going to stay in there, and I was going to retire in there. Mm-hmm. Well, things didn't work out that way. 3 years in, I had kidney failure, and my entire life changed. So during that time, I used to often think I thought about it years later, I never sat and said, well, why me? I really had a vision. I really had something I wanted to do for me. Why me? That never crossed my mind. More or less, the thought kept entering into my head. What now? There's no plan A, B, or C. So you got to come up with something totally different. So we start praying about God, you just show me what you want me to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That wasn't anything I took time really to think about and focus on. So I started working on a book. It's funny how this book is going. I started working on a book about 14 years ago. When you reach a certain age of wisdom, and I'm going to leave it like that, my sisters, where you learn at a certain point to separate yourself from the nonsense, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So when I would go to work every day during my hour lunch, I would sit at my desk and I would type. Not even doing it to publish a book, just giving myself an outlet, something else to think about, something else to focus on. So while I was on dialysis, I'd sit on the dialysis machine and I would type and I would edit and I would add stuff with it and remove stuff. But I knew from the beginning when I started my outline, I wanted it to be 3 topics that are taboo. Things we're not supposed to talk about with people that we don't know, people that we're not close with. Religion, race, and politics. So I wanted to make sure, because those subjects can take you to a whole nother place if you don't know the people. But I wanted to show in this book a place setting, but it's a classroom, how you can learn, no matter how old you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what you've been taught. If you listen with your mouth closed, sometimes you can learn and get a different point of view than what you've known your entire life. And even if we don't agree 100%, I should be able to find some type of commonality or respect for you at a point that we can agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. These are conversations in this book that my husband and I have had over the years, political things that have happened, wars, how there's so much violence. And with us being vets and taught to use weapons, I mean, you know, we realize the importance of not grabbing them.
Right.
You know, if I have it with me and you and I get in an argument, there's a high probability I'm going to use it because I have it. So we don't have to have that in every scenario. So different pieces like that, I wanted to just include in that. So I said, okay, I'm going to write it. And I shared it with a couple of cousins, Barbara and Carmen, and they were like, girl, you need to get this published. And I'm like, just something to do. But in the process of this, now it's parlaying itself over into my health and my experiences. And I'm finding myself talking more often about, you know, the 46 surgeries I've had and the 30 plus hospital stays I've had. How when doctors, remember we just went to a hospital in Charlotte and a doctor came in and she said, when I read your file, without seeing what you look like or hearing your voice, just reading all the things you've gone through, ablation surgery with your heart, blood clots in your lungs, calciphylaxis where I almost lost my leg, different stuff. She said, as I was reading that, I was saying to myself, this girl gonna look pitiful. There's no way she can qualify for a transplant because she's going to be frail, she's going to be weak, and she's going to be sickly. So when she walked in there, she was like, Miss Burden? It was like, yeah. I said, I take pride every day I get up for you to look at me and not see what I've gone through.
Wow.
I don't want you to focus on that. So one of the things I'm most proud about the book is I wanted to leave something else there, something with my creativity, something with my thought process, where we can focus on that instead of every time you see someone, how you feeling? How you doing? How's dialysis going? You on that 3 days a week, 4 hours a day? Bless your heart. Oh no, I'm good. I'm working on book 2. You know? And I start seeing, y'all were talking about Moses. I was like, God, click me in. Moses wasn't supposed to be here.
Right.
He was supposed to be dead. He was supposed to be killed as a baby. And then he still ended up being breastfed by his own mother. You can't stop God's plan for you no matter what you go through. No matter what other people's vision is for you. You can't stop it.
Right.
You cannot stop it. Live to be 120 years old. Who thought an 80-year-old man was going to be able to start living out God's plan for his life at 80?
At 80. Wow. That's right. And it just speaks volumes of, you know, we're all here for a reason. And we have to conduct a due diligence within ourselves to find out why.
What it is.
Why am I here? It's definitely not here to engage in being in consumerism and watching things and listening to things that's not good for my spirit.
Right.
It's not good for my energy.
Right.
So why am I here?
Right.
You know, and it's not here to chase money. That's definitely not it. It's not here to chase the bag. You know, if you have any inkling or desire where your heart is turning towards having a better relationship with God, your creator, then you should realize that, hey, I'm here on purpose. I'm not just, here in the background. I'm not, I'm here on purpose.
That's right.
Because if my heart is turning towards wanting to know more about God, wanting to know more about myself, then that lets me know. But so many people are just walking around sleepwalking and they don't have a clue. And it just speaks volumes about how you're, in spite of your health challenges, these are, and I when I hear of people with sharing their health challenges, because me personally, I didn't have like major health issues. I had spiritual issues, but I had, and I my heart just goes out for people who have those challenges and still have to, get up and go to work every day and just deal with life, and it says to me that drive and that determination from the Holy Spirit is what's pushing you and keeping you positioned so that you can fulfill your mission. And I believe it's writing this book, Free Land for Sale. Tell us how you crafted this book.
Okay. My husband was an avid reader, especially when we first got married. He loved older books and stuff. So he had one called, good gracious, I just went blank. A Raisin in the Sun.
Yeah.
A Raisin, you remember Sidney Poitier starred in it, and then the last one, they had P. Diddy and Felicia Rashad in it. And so that's how they wrote books back then. We actually have a hard copy, a paperback of the original book, and they wrote it in play form. So they're easier to convert if you want to put it on a stage play or put it, have it on television. It's easier to convert like that. But that didn't cross my mind when I was writing. What crossed my mind is I had an outline. I knew the difficult subjects I wanted them to discuss, and then I knew how in the end I wanted them to mature and to be able to receive criticism and other points of view. But to write about multiple people, for me, it's just easier for me to keep the characters and their personalities separate by writing in this format. I can't explain it. That could just be a gift. I have no idea where it came from. And so I have like 4 plays that I'm working on now, and they're all written very similar. But for me, because if I have to remember, I'm talking about Kyla, I'm talking about Ahim. When I hear that name in my mind, I already got a personality, whether they're Hispanic, whether they're white, I got exactly the type of personality that I'm looking for. And it's just easier for me to separate it like that. So now that people are reading it, they'll tell me, well, when I got midway of the book, I didn't have to look at who was saying what anymore. They learned those personalities enough that one of my nurses came and told me, girl, Kyla had me so upset, I had to take a bubble bath and relax my mind.
Wow.
They learn the people, and they don't even have to look at who's saying what anymore. They can tell by what's being said, who said it. And that's kind of the direction that I chose to go in. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. I just embraced it and went with it.
And how did you come about the title?
Free Land for Sale. First of all, I have to tell everybody, because this book is not about land. I've had so many people
I loved about it.
Yeah, people I don't read the book, but I didn't see anything in here about no free land. So I was like, it's not about land. In my mind.
When I saw it, I was like, is she going to be writing about the 40 acres and the mule?
Lord, no, not at all. Well, kind of, sort of. Okay, when you really think about it, free land, in my mind, I'm thinking God granted all of us a freedom when we were born, wherever our tribes were, whether it was Africa, whether it was Europe, whether it was wherever, we had a freedom. And at some point, man decided he could take that freedom away and then charge us for it.
Right. For our own stuff.
For our own stuff. You can take, God gave us this beautiful land. He gave us the ability to work it, to grow on it, to take care of the animals on it. That was all a part of what we were supposed to do. So how you can come knock on my door, take my house, and then I can't get it back. You can sell it, but you didn't pay anything for it. So I'm not just talking about tangible things. I'm talking about how we, once upon a time, was on a ledger where we were being sold with cattle and land and property, homes, and you just took our freedom away, and everything now it's about the dollar. You just talked about, we can't fight for that bag, because that's not what's most important. Our mental capacity, our spiritual growth, that's what's most important. But some kind of way we got it twisted that it's about the money I can get. It's about the money or what I can take from you and sell, make money off of. So that was my logic behind it. You know, I think after people finish the entire book and they hear the racial conversations, we talked about Proverbs, how back in the day they would read Proverbs, the book in Proverbs to us, telling us that slaves obey your master, not clarifying that the only master we're talking about is the master, not a master.
Right.
You know, so we had to talk about stuff like that, and I wanted them to be vocal. I wanted them to be upset. I wanted them to ask questions, and they did. So that was the point. So in the end, people are saying, okay, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. But you had me looking for land. I ain't seen no land in the book. So that was kind of the point behind it.
It's kind of basically like a parable.
Yeah.
Where God was saying he used parables as milk to draw people because they weren't ready for the meat.
Hello.
And once you are ready for the meat, then he's able to speak to you directly. But the parables were for the babies. So that kind of draws you in, because some people may not have read it unless it had that title.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So that was a good parable to draw them in and then feed them the meat.
Hello. I'll take that. I received that. Thank you. But everything about the front of this book had meaning for me. Y'all got my color purple. You see everything I'm doing is purple. I see y'all got the purple going. The irises are flowers known for wisdom and knowledge. My name was blessed to be Lydia. And we know about Lydia in the Bible. The seller of purple garment, the woman that was bringing people to Christ. And then on top of that, my middle name is Yolanda. They named me after Dr. Martin Luther King's oldest daughter.
Okay.
So I wanted, when you see every part of this, plus this iris, it grows in my mom's front yard. So that's another reason I had that flower. But I wanted from the beginning of it all the way through to the back to have some type of significance and some type of meaning for me. You know, and I wanted people to be able to ask me about it so I could tell them why I chose these things.
Right.
And it worked, because people stopped me like, okay, free land, where are they selling free land? Like, nowhere. Nowhere. Sorry.
Right.
You know.
Right. And
we really have to get the mindset. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about starting Monday, about the kingdom of God. You really have to get the mindset that is your land. That's you. You are the kingdom of God. So that's your land. And we've been selling it to people, and they've been selling us stuff. And we've lost the freedom of what salvation really was. Salvation was really about the freedom.
That's right.
Yeah. So that I'm gonna have to read this little book and see what's going on.
Okay. But we talking about some difficult subjects in there. We're on Willie Lynch, the mindset, how you controlled our minds. Initially,
that's the land that's how I view where you were coming from with the land, because this is our mind, our mentality is the only thing that we have really that no one can really take unless we give it away, and or exchange it for something, which is, you know, what we're watching, what we're thinking about, you know, for sale. So they sell us stuff by putting stuff in front of us to consume, and they're buying our land.
So when you think Willie Lynch knew that many years ago that if I can control their minds, we'll control them for generations for over 400 years. And we're past 400 years, and our minds are still being manipulated and controlled to think a certain way, even to think about one another. You know, how we feel about each other, what I think you should be doing, what I think you should look like, how you should carry yourself, as opposed to just embracing you for who God made you to be.
Right.
You know, they've taught us that we're not even acceptable.
Right.
Because we don't even accept ourselves.
Right. Right.
And we've been hypnotized to the outside, and we're taught to see it to believe it when we should be believing it to see it.
Leaving it to see.
And it's the hypnotism, and that's why this season of waking up and seeing who you are, the thing that we should be doing is leading people back to themselves. To me, that's what repentance means: returning back to your original state of being before you were in flesh. And we're still looking at sin, but the sin is just missing the mark of who you are. So we are in this stage that more people, this is like probably the biggest amount of people I've seen in a long time that are waking up from the religious things that were taught to us that were not, they were told to us as a truth, as the truth. It was a truth in their mind, but it wasn't the truth.
Right.
So this is like the biggest space I've seen where people are waking up. Even on social media, we're seeing people not being afraid to express something outside of what they learned in the church that wasn't necessarily the right thing, but allowing themselves to speak and not be in fear, because the whole world was built on fear and death.
That's right.
And so this sounds like another avenue of an awakening to people that just choose. And we've got to get everybody in a mode of reading and studying, not just reading, but studying and taking it in depth and finding what the revelation is for your life. So I'm very intrigued to study your book, not read your book, but study your book to see, the revelation that I can obtain from it.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And, I mean, there's so much information, ever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. And you really do have to study. You have to study. But in my opinion, the key thing is we must allow ourselves to take those times to really connect with God within us, because we're Reverend Ike fans over here, Lydia.
Okay. Okay.
I get.
Okay.
God within us, right? Because we have to connect with that, because if you are a true believer in God and what Jesus was trying to help us understand, then if you allow yourself, you have to allow yourself to go through whatever process that God wants to take you through to get you positioned so that you can get connected, reconnect back with him. That's the whole thing about allowing Christ to come in your heart. My opinion, he's always been there. We just had to roll that stone away.
Yeah.
And let him be resurrected within us.
And there's nothing more difficult than that self-reflection, where you have to sit in your quiet space and really think about, God, show me, what do you want me to do? What am I here for? You're not letting me go through all these things just to be to tell people I've gone through them. It's got to be something bigger in there that you want me to do. That's what I need you to show me, and not just show me, you just guide it. Whatever happens, happen. I told my husband, when we opened the box, when the books came from the publisher, that day we opened the box, my vision was done for myself. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was beyond excited. I wasn't thinking about, can I sell a copy? That didn't even bother me. The fact that I finished it, I put my heart into it, I was satisfied. And ever since then, it's like he keep opening doors that I'm not even thinking about, because I didn't even have the ability to dream big enough for my own self.
Right.
So,
and that's why it says he gives you the desires of your heart. A lot of people think whatever I desire, God's going to give it to me. No, he has placed the desires in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about last week that Jesus is knocking at your heart. And most people would vision that as an outside knock, but he's on the inside knocking so that you can see what gifts he has planted in there for you. And it's so many. And when you're saying the doors are open, they're going to continue to open until eternity.
I'm sitting there talking to you. I'm talking to you today, okay? I didn't even the thought process of that didn't even cross my mind. When I opened the box, I'm like, I can share it with my family and my friends, and I'm done. That was my vision. So now, like, you know what, God, whatever you see, I'm open for whatever direction you want me to go in. You able to keep me well enough, strong enough to be able to continue to move forward. I will give you the praise for the things that you have done that I haven't heard, but I know for myself because I've lived through it. I'm not supposed to be here like Moses.
Right.
I've had so many different conditions that could have easily taken my life. And I know that. So it makes you sometimes sit and wonder, like, Lord, I know 3 other people that had the same thing I had and they're dead.
They ain't here.
And I'm still here. Yeah. What am I supposed to be doing? It's something else I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and you never accepted those diagnoses. That's a key point. You heard the diagnosis, but most people accept the diagnosis as a period. That's the end. I'm out of here. But when you hear the diagnosis and you just keep going like you ain't heard nothing, then that's what keeps you here.
You have to. In a village, we talk so many times about the importance of having a strong village.
Oh, yeah.
Village around me, and that's not DNA blood family. That's God family that God has placed into your life. Right. There are some people that we don't have to think twice about whether they're going to show up, whether they're going to check on us, whether they're going to call us or bring something to eat. Those are the kind of people that helps you wake up that next day. Because I have some people like, well, you feeling kind of down today. You must be in pain. I told you, I just had surgery Tuesday. So I got out of hospital Wednesday night, but I was not missing you all today. Not going to miss it. Nope, not going to miss it. And so I had to think about that. And it's like, whatever direction we have to go in, people like, I know you might not feel good today. They'll give me one mental health day. After that, I got to get up.
Right.
You got to get up. We got to get, my husband is big on that. My parents big on, hey, you're not sounding right. I'm going to need to see you today. I'm going to need you to show your face somewhere. And that's stuff like that. Next thing you know, you get up and you're moving around. You start feeling better and you don't even realize you're feeling better because you're moving.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's the power of intention is an amazing thing because that is, my opinion, the fuel that keeps you getting out of bed when you don't want to get out of bed. And interestingly, when it creates these moments where the right support is going to show up. Why? Because your heart is setting the intention. God, I don't want people, I don't want to look like I've gone through anything because you promised me you are my healer. And you walk in that, then you can't help but to attract and bring in the right support system, because all the other people who are doubters and naysayers and people that that don't trust God the way you do, they can't be a part of that. They can't be a part of that. And God, that's how he encamps around about us, that safety that we need by surrounding us with the right people. If we trust him,
that's right.
If we trust him and if we hold in our hearts, God, I know you, and I know it's going to work out. Just give me the strength to type this last chapter, and then I'll go to bed. I just want to get it out, and then I'll go to bed, God. And then I know I'm not feeling my best, God, but let this chapter, it needs to get to on these pages. Let me just get it out, God. And it's like, we're going to wrap it up because we only have a few minutes, but it's during those dark moments, those dark times when you feel like you can't go on.
That's right.
That you get that little oomph from God to keep going. And when you get back up off your face, then you'll see there's that support. He comforts us. And if people will just realize that they're not alone, that in spite of whatever it is you're going through, that your purpose is not going to let you leave this planet until you fulfill it. And that's why you're like, I'm still here. I ain't dead. All that crap I smoke. Oh my God, I'm still here. Why? Why am I still here, God? Boom, I got something to show you. Boom, and then he opens it up for you, and it just makes everything that you've experienced. It just makes up for it, in my opinion, because you finally allowed yourself to. You didn't give up on me, God, even when I wanted to give up.
Amen.
Your spirit kept me going when I didn't want to go on. And now you can be positioned in your purpose. And that's why you can proclaim he gets the glory. I don't get it, because I would have been gone a long time ago. I would did something, because I didn't want to go through nothing that was going to, and I applaud you, my dear heart, for just
thank you
being so determined, and that soldier in you just wanting to keep getting up. And it was such an honor to have you on tonight. It's truly an inspiring story. I'm sitting there looking at the book right now. I'm going to get it. I'm like Amazon. And ladies and gentlemen, go out to Amazon, purchase Free Land for Sale. It's I know it's going to minister to you. And I hope and pray that what we've shared with you all tonight encourages you in some way, whether you realize that in spite of your inadequacies, that your purpose is not going to give up on you, that God's going to, you're equipped for it, even when you don't feel as if you are not equipped. Parting words, co-host.
Again, thank you for coming and sharing your story.
Thank you.
It's enlightening to a lot of people that are going through some of the things you've gone through, because people always put every sickness is not to death. So it only becomes death if you think it is, because as a man thinketh in his heart, so it becomes.
Right.
And if we can just grasp that, if we could just get that little piece, then God is always going to add some more pieces to it. So I'm encouraged by it. Y'all need to get the book. We got to start supporting each other and begin to lift each other up in a different manner. I'm so excited for what God is going to do in your life in a continued way. Don't put a period behind it, because there's so much more to come.
All right.
So set yourself and be expecting of what God is doing. Because if you've done that through 47 surgeries and you're still writing and you're still saying how good God is, and how that grace is so sufficient, even when that thorn in the flesh just keep going, we're excited about your journey. So thank you for coming and sharing. Maybe we can have you back again and we can take some
I would
parts
love
of it.
that. I want to come during the Bible study part.
Okay. All right, girl. All right. We're cooking up something for
I know a little something about Moses.
Yeah, we're cooking up something for the season finale. So now that you put it out there, so we'll probably have you as a little segment for the season finale. Have you on?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That will work. Thank you, lady.
Wishes granted, Lydia.
She's right. She's writing it down. She's making it permanent.
Right, yeah. I'm gonna get a hold of Abby and let her know. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for allowing me this time and space to be able to talk about things that are important to me, which is the book, and things that have happened in my life. And I don't mind giving a testimony about it, because I know I have an amazing one to give. So while I'm here, I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lydia Burden, thank you so much, my love.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. Wow, co-host. Wow.
Wow.
Right when you think you're going through, and then you hear somebody be like, "Dog, let me just shut up.
I ain't going through that.
Let me shut up. I'm stopping. Let me stop it right now."
Yeah, let me stop whining. Let me stop crying and whining.
Crying and whining. And then we got Wonder Woman over in the corner done had all these surgeries, and she's still smiling and filled with the joy of the Lord. Shut up, Vanessa. Stop it right now.
Don't you say another word. Oh God.
Well, co-host, we did it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very inspiring.
Very
Very
inspiring.
inspiring.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight on Spiritually Speaking and Awakening. It's truly just a joyful experience. And we will be having Lydia on. We're going to do something different for the season finale. It's going to be a party.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I'm already getting some ideas, but
All right.
yeah, so we're going to have her on the season finale.
Okay.
Well, so tomorrow's today.
Tomorrow's today.
Tomorrow's
Today, I
today.
promise you. And I'm not saying it because I implemented it, but I'm just saying
Girl,
in the beginning was
I'm a
the word.
witness. I'm a witness. When we were editing tomorrow's show, I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm going to be tuned in tomorrow. So ladies and gentlemen, join us tomorrow morning for season 2 of today's Michelleology. What you got on tonight, co-host?
Oh, my shirt. My shirt.
Today's Michelleology.
Yeah, today's Michelleology with Michelle Washington. That's what my shirt said. I wore it all day today. Yeah, I was advertising today while I was DoorDash, I was advertising.
Good for you. Good for you. Join us tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for today's Michelleology, and Friday, right along with Vanessa Morning Show with me and Hot Dog. So until next week, co-host. Oh, Fred Calloway. Not Fred Calloway. What's his name? Yeah, it's Fred Calloway. I always love the name Calloway. But Fred Calloway be joining us next week. So we had Lydia on tonight, and we have Fred on next week. So it's gonna be an exciting show. So join us, ladies and gentlemen. Again, may the Lord richly bless you.
Real good.
Next week. May you walk in his power and authority, and may you operate from integrity as the doors open up for you, as the opportunities present themselves in front of you, so that you can
All right.
receive
I got
them
that.
with integrity and power.
Yeah.
That's right. Blessings, 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 blessings. Come on, girl. This is it. I'm so excited. All right. Bless everyone. Have an amazing week. And until next week, stay in love.
Get ready for your now awakening. Today's Michelleology returns Memorial Day, only on Stay in Love TV.
Think that you are encountering resistance, but actually from your external world, but actually that's your world telling you this ain't it.
The Ride Along with Vanessa Morning Show streams Fridays, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay in love. Join me and the great Michelle Massey Washington Sunday, June 4th, with our very special guest, Fred Calloway, founder of Spirit Vision Products and God's Alpha Male brand. Fred is committed to spreading his message to men around the world through Spirit Vision Products and God's Alpha Male. So join us Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Stay in Love TV.
Stay in Love TV is your production to distribution solution to getting your message seen and heard.